Okay, so we're live. So today we're going to be talking about risk management, right? So it's more like risk management for future trading. Okay, the other one is just like a general risk management. There's risk management one is more like a general risk management that I wanted us to talk about. Okay, but this particular one, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the risk management strategies I use as I trade the futures market. Okay, so stop waiting so much and let's get into it. Okay, they're just going to be like pro tips. Okay, they're not going to be anything in depth like that. Like I told you guys, risk management, the thing is that there are certain things that someone might try to help you to understand, but at the end of the day, it's your interaction with the market that would help you to define your edge, because no two traders are the same. Okay, so what worked for me might not work for you, so you need to actually find your own edge before you find a strategy that works for you. Okay, that's why you need to have a trading plan. Most of these risk management are based on my own subjective view. Okay, so you need to actually interact with the market to be able to find out what works for you so you can stick to it and make the most out of the crypto market, right? So the first trading tip we have is do not use more than 10% of your portfolio to open a trade. Okay, normally you're going to hear people tell you do not use 1%, but do you know why me I choose 10%? 10% because I would, in as much as I know that I'm going to grow, I need to admit I need to be truthful to myself that at the moment now my capital is not so huge like that. So if I'm using 1%, just imagine that my capital is $100 and then I'm using 1% of my money. That's what most people will tell you. Use 1% of your portfolio to open a single trade. So imagine using 1%, that is $1. So imagine I have only $100 and then I'm using $1 to open a trade. Like I'm just going to be wasting my time. Okay, so because of the kind of capital I have and the kind of capital that most of us would start with, that is why I'm trying to give you guys what worked for me and what you can actually employ to also work for you too, right? So use 10% of your portfolio. So let's assume that you have a $100 account now. You're going to be using what, and $10 per trade. So if you have $10, so for you to be able to trade with all the $100, you need to open what, 10 trade. So $10 per trade. You can decide to use 5%, whichever one that's okay, but depending on the risks that you're comfortable with. Okay, but then the more you advance in your portfolio, the more this percentage is going to drop. Okay, so the more because if let's assume if you're not using a $1,000 account, it's possible that you might want to use 5% so that you shouldn't be exposed to so much risk in the market. Then as you increase to $10,000, you might want to start. So people that will not be following that 1% rule are people that have portfolios like probably a 20,000 portfolio, a $20,000 portfolio, or a 50,000 portfolio here. And those ones, their 1% is a reasonable amount of money. Okay, so that is just that. Use at least not more than 10% of your portfolio to open a single trade, because you can open multiple trades at a particular time. So do not open a single account with all your portfolio. Is very, very risky. Okay, your stop loss should be a maximum of 30% of the initial 10% of trading. Okay, maybe if you don't understand this one, subsequently I might organize a class where I'm going to be explaining some of this particular concept. Okay, so just take your 10%. Let's assume that you're using your 10% of your portfolio to trade. Let me just use a figure. Let's assume our capital is $100. Okay, so 10% of $100 is what? Is $10. So we're opening a trade with $10. And then if we are setting a stop loss, our stop loss should not be more than 30% of the initial $10 that we are using. So 30% of $10 should be around 3.5. Let's say $3. So meaning if you open a trade with $10, which is 10% of your initial capital, you're not supposed to lose more than 30%. That's what I mean. Like you're not supposed to even to reach the 30% too. Like bad as be, if you're wrong with your analysis, your loss should not be more than 30%. So if you now look at it now, if you now lose 30% of 10%, that is 30% of, let's as I'm using $10 now, right? So if you now lose 30% of $10, you're not going to look at it like $3 is a very, very, it's not really, it's not so much of a big loss really compared to your initial capital. So it's just like in that particular trade, you lost $3 from what? From $100. But had it been you're using your full capital and that's $100 now, and then you lose just 30%, that is $30 already. But because of you're using 10% of your portfolio, that is why you've been able to mitigate the risks to the barest minimum. Okay, so the next one is what? Allow your winning trades to run. Okay, some of this concept now you won't be able to relate to them until you start trading fiscally. Okay, until you start trading actively. See, let me tell you something, but it's wanting to conduct an analysis and then it's wanting to actually allow the analysis to play out well. Trust me, guys, I've been in the situation whereby I did good analysis, but the moment I entered the trade, I don't know, my psychology or my emotions failed me, and then I exited the trade. And not few hours after I exited the trade went beautifully well. Instead of me to make like 500% of my profit, I ended up making like 40%. You can look at the margin, because I did not allow my winning trade to win. You know, they always say it's not by how much you lose when you're wrong, it's how much you make when you're correct. But a lot of us, we tend to limit how much we make when we are correct because we are scared. We have this kind of limiting mindset. And that's why I want you to, I'm calling attention to it now. When you start interacting in the market, please learn to trust your analysis and allow your analysis to allow your winning trades to run into total profit. Okay, so cut short your loss. Okay, so now some of these things I'm explaining to you about, believe me, the moment you begin to interact, you discover that you're violating them real life. So speak to you now, I'm violating one of my rules. I'm on the live trade. If you can see my face, I'm even angry. I'm violating one of these rules now. This could cut losses short. I did one analysis and then I forgot to set my stop loss, and then the price actually gone against me. But I want to actually come down before I cut short my losses. So you're not supposed to allow your losses to be extremely. No, people. Let me tell you one funny thing about this trading stuff. People would always be in a haste to exit a winning trade than to exit a losing trade. You know that saying that a bird in hand is better than two in the bush. A lot of people used to do that in trading. You're in your winning trade, yes, the thing has given you small profit. Hold the maximum profit, but because like, I don't want to lose this one, I don't make it, let me not lose it too. Before you now go and exit the position in that small profit, and the market will now actually go your direction. So it's not just enough for you to know how to do analysis. You need to learn how to trust your analysis and give it time to play out. When I was talking about the effective traders method, I mentioned patience. Patience is very, very important if you must succeed as a trader. Okay, so always learn to cut short your losses and allow your winners to run. Okay, so never add money to a losing position. And these are my personal experience. Okay, I was in a position. I said, okay, I did a short position. So okay, BTC was going to go down after I hit a particular position. And you know what? BTC began to go up. When I got to that particular position, my entry was triggered. And then the thing began to go against me. I was like, no, this cannot be possible. BTC is like, I was so angry and mad that BTC is supposed to come down here. I said I was owner of the market. Then I saw that and I redid the analysis. Okay, it was supposed to come down, but I missed the place. I think this is the place that if it gets to, it's going to come down. So I went and placed another order at the higher position. Remember, my first trade is already in loss. But because I was so rigid, I don't want to accept the fact that I am wrong. I went and add more position again. And what happened? Even the new one where I add, the thing go chop stop loss. So I ended up with having a huge amount of loss. Simply because of what I was adding money to a losing trade. Never add money to a losing trade. Sometimes, like I told you, you might not understand this until you start interacting with the market properly. So you might come back and make reference to this particular video. Never add money to a losing trade. It's one of the standing rules of trading because you'll be compelled to. Most especially when you're good to analysis. The moment you do analysis, you'll be like, no, I cannot be wrong. I cannot be wrong. Before you know, you've lost the money that you ought not to have lost simply because of what you added money to a losing position. Okay, so let's look at the next one now. The next slide. Winning streak can be your biggest distraction. Well, what do I mean by winning streak? When you're having back-to-back wins, back-to-back wins. I'm currently recording this video in 2023, and let me tell you something. From January till almost January 1st to 13th January, I was having clean wins. Yeah, my wins was consecutive, back-to-back. First, second, third, I was winning all my winning streak. And you know what happened? I started feeling like a mini god. It happens. We are all humans. The moment you begin to win like that, you begin to feel as if you're invincible. Once you begin to feel that you're invincible, you begin to omit one or two things that ideally you're not supposed to omit. Okay, and that was what happened to me. I began to omit these things, and what happened? The moment my losing streak come, I began to lose, because just as the winning streak comes, the losing streak can also come too. Not because you're a bad analyst, but sometimes it happens like that. There are down days that you just be feeling down. It happens in the crypto market too. Where all your analysis will just be hitting stop loss, not because of your bad, but because of these are the normal things that happen in the market. They are inevitable. Okay, so like I said, now the losing streak can demoralize you, and the winning streak can be a distraction to you, because at the end of the day, you forget to stick to your trading plans, and you end up trading impulsively. I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so probably when you begin to interact with the market, you understand clearly what I'm trying to say here. Okay, always use your stop loss. Okay, stop loss is one of the automatic tools you use to exit the market when you're wrong. So never enter a trade without using the stop loss. I know sometimes you might want to do stubborn head. That one, it go shock you one day. I like some of these things I'm saying here. In as much as I know that they're risk management, I'm still trying on my own self to build the discipline to obey them, because it's not easy. You're human, so sometimes you might fall short of even your own analysis, even your own plan. You might fall short of it. So let's ensure that you use your stop loss. Okay, so use high leverage if and only if your stop loss is below 0.4. You might not understand this thing, but the moment you begin to practice, you're going to understand this thing. By high leverage, I mean, like there's the concept we call leverage in futures trading. Okay, where it helps you to multiply either your profit or your loss. So before some people look at me using high leverage, like, this guy is using high leverage. The only thing that gives me the guarantee to use high leverage is when I know that my stop loss margin is not much. So should in case the loss go again, because leverage multiplies either your profit or your loss. So if the trade goes against, if the trade goes in your favor with a high leverage, you're going to make more money. If it goes against you with a high leverage, you're going to with a high stop loss margin, you're going to lose more money. So the only time that I'm liberty of using high leverage is when I'm very sure that if it goes against me, I will not lose so much money. When maybe I've been able to refine my entry, maybe using the other block, I've been able to go on a lower time frame and refine my entry, and then I have my stop loss very, very tiny, maybe 0.2%. So let's assume I'm using a 100x leverage, and then I'm using 0.2 stop loss. So if I hit stop loss, I'm just losing 20% of my portfolio. And of course, remember I said you're only allowed to risk at least 30% of your. This is my own perception. Okay, you can actually find what works for you. If you're not comfortable with 30%, you can make it lesser. Okay. So using 100x leverage now, and then I'm losing 0.2%. If you multiply them, it's going to be 20%. So you can see it's still in line with my plan. You get, so it's very, very easy for you to do all of these things. Okay. Now set weekly loss threshold. Okay, if you're trading, it's good to set goals. Okay, just as you set goals for profit, also set goals for losses. So okay, this week if my analysis goes wrong and then I lost up to $100 in a single week, I'm not going to trade again. Like that's the highest amount of loss I can take in a single week. So even if you lost the $100 in one day, you're going to stop trading for the rest of the week. That was what I did. There was one time I was trading on Monday, I lost more than $100. I refused to trade again. Like that was how I was looking at my charts for Monday, Tuesday. I was not doing anything until the next time, until the next Monday. It can be difficult, but this is how you build discipline for yourself. Okay, always set a weekly loss threshold that suits your capacity. All right, so always make reference to your trading plan. Very, very important. Okay, I know some of you now might be asking what's the trading plan. Of course, the trading plan is some of the rules that would guide you, your rules of engagement. So each and every one of you need to set your rules of engagement. What must you see in the market before you take a trade? You must wait for your support and resistance, your trend line, like how many confirmations must you see before you take a trade? So always make sure that you stick to your rules, your trading plan. Very, very important. The day you decide to go against your trade plan, you begin to discover some inconsistencies in your results. Okay, so always stick to your trading plan. All right, so let's go to the next one. Mitigate risk by mastering TA. Of course, if you want to be very good at your risk management game, you need to also learn TA, because with the help of TA, you'll be able to refine your entry. By refining your entry, you're going to reduce the amount of losses that you can contain in a single trade. So that's what we're trying to do here. Practice to make your TA skills very, very excellent. If possible, take more. If you feel that the knowledge you got from me is not sophisticated enough, you can go for advanced classes. I did so. I've taken classes from numerous people, not because of the knowledge, but then there's something you learn from them. No knowledge you waste. I learned from you, and then I'm combining everything today to become a better trader. Okay, so just because I want to master TA, so master TA to mitigate the risks involved in trading. Okay, set realistic take profit targets. I know a lot of you, the moment you do analysis, you want to, in a single trade, you want to make all the profit in the world. It's not possible. Be realistic with your profits. Okay, I want to make 5%. Don't wait, you want to make 50%. The market might actually go in your direction, but might not get to your 50% before you reverse and hit your stop loss. But when you set realistic take profits, you'll be able to be taking profits and be making money as you trade. Okay. Open not more than 5 positions at a stretch. Okay, the moment you begin to trade futures, you're going to discover that you can open several trades at the same time. So you can, depending on how aggressive you can open up to 20, up to you. But then it's advisable that you don't open more than 5, so you'll be able to monitor them. Because like I told you guys, your emotion is going to be messed up if you don't know how to trade. If you're not careful in this trading game, it's going to mess up with your emotions. So when you have more trades open, that is when you'll be susceptible to more emotional troubles. Okay, so open at least 5. In fact, I would recommend you open just 3. But then as you begin to progress, you can begin to open more 5 and even have more like that. But then 5 should be what you should start with now. Okay, do not open more than 5. Okay. So do not overtrade. It's always a big thing that the moment you begin to learn how to do TE, the moment you begin to learn to conduct analysis, you don't want to be trading every day. You want to be trading every time, like back to back. At the end of the day, you end up experiencing some massive losses. Okay, so do not overtrade. Okay, just like they will say, do not overfeed, because it's not good. Overtrading too can be disastrous. This can be very difficult, because even myself, I'm having problem with that particular one. I would just, my body go to scratch me, go and take a trade, and therefore now I'll go and take a trade and I'll go and hit stop loss. So do not overtrade. So you always be on the calm state to analyze your markets properly. Okay, try and be consistent with your risk to reward ratio. Okay, what is your risk to reward ratio? Risk to reward ratio is a very, very simple concept. Okay, so let's say you want to make your risk. Okay, for every for risk to reward ratio, it means it's more like your stop loss and take profit target. Okay, there's some people that they don't take any trade until they are sure that the trade is going to produce for them at least 5% in profits, in pure profits. So make sure that what like if they are right, they always get what plus 5%. So when you multiply it by their leverage, that's when you get the actual figure. Okay. Then even their stop loss too, they always have a fixed value. For example, me, my own is 30%. So anytime I'm wrong, I know okay, I'm going to lose 30%. But anytime I'm wrong, I'm correct, I know I'm going to get what? I'm going to get almost 250%. You can see the difference. If you're wrong, you lose 30%. If you're correct, you get 250%. That's a good score. Or probably if you're right, you get 150%. That is almost times 5 of the loss. So that we call it what? The 1:5. Meaning if 1:5 means for every 30% you're willing to risk, you're willing to make 150%. So be consistent. Don't be saying today you're going to be risking 30%, tomorrow you're going to be risking 50%, tomorrow you're going to be risking. No, be consistent with it so you'll be able to measure your progress. Okay. These are concepts that you're going to understand as you interact with the market. Okay, for now, you might look at it, what's this guy talking about? It's because of you're yet to start actively engaging the market. But the moment you begin to engage in the market, you begin to understand some of these concepts that I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, so have a trading journal. A trading journal is just where you record all the trading you're taking. Remember, I said when we were talking about the foundations of a successful trading career, I said documentation is one of them. Okay, so you need to have a trade journal where you're going to write all your trade. Even if the trade hit stop loss, why did it hit stop loss? What did you omit? Like, it's one of the most sweet things that I've been doing recently, journaling my trade. Like, at the end of the day, okay, this is why I lose the trade. So next time you won't repeat the mistake again. Okay, so yeah, that is just how it happens. So the next one, move your profits. Okay, move your profit no matter how small to a separate account. It's very, very beautiful. You know, sometimes when you're trading, right, people want to be leaving their profit in their futures account. Like if they hit profit, they'll still leave the money in their futures account and use the profit to keep on trading. The way I do it is not like that. Okay, let's assume I'm trading the $100 account and I make a first trade and then I got plus $20. I'm going to remove that $20 to maybe my spot account. You know, you can actually, but you're going to understand what I'm trying to say here. That's what we call the spot account, the futures account, and the funding account, and a lot of them like that on Binance or whatever exchange you're using. So whenever I'm making my money on my futures account, whatever profit I make, even if it's $1, I'm going to move the $1 to a separate account. That way I can be able to monitor progress. So let's say, okay, I will say, okay, my target for this month is to move maybe $100 to $1,000. So the moment I trade that $100 and then I make any particular profit, I'm removing it from there. So I'll always make sure that my $100, my account is what at $100, my futures, my margin account. So even if I lose some money from there, I'll try to recover it. I'm not going to go and pick for my profit to recover it. No, my profit's already there. I'm piling because if you don't do it like that, right, you just say that you just be moving in circles. You won't be able to measure your progress. So let's separate your profits. Okay, take as much as you can to avoid. Try as much as you can to avoid liquidation. Okay, along the way, you're going to understand what liquidation is. Liquidation is when you lose your money completely. And what happens when you get liquidated is when you refuse to use your stop loss. Maybe when the trade is against you and you refuse to exit the trade because of your feeling you can never be wrong. Then the market will keep on going against you until all the money in your account has disappeared. That's what we call liquidation. When you have lost everything in your account. So try as much as possible to avoid liquidation. How do you avoid liquidation? By using your stop loss always. Okay, do not be in a hurry to trade. The market doesn't reward the fastest analyst. Like this, if you look at now, some of these are just they're my subjective thoughts because I was writing this thing from my own head. These are things that I'm practically doing. So when I say do not be in a hurry to take a trade, I'm talking about my impulsive self. So this might not apply to you, but then always have at the back of your mind that no, the market does not reward the fastest analyst. It rewards the analyst that did the best analysis. That's able to hold straight till it hits TP, take profit. When you're in a hurry, you also go, you end up missing a lot of things and then you end up getting burnt. Okay? So don't be in a hurry to make a trade. The market does not reward the fastest analyst. Okay? And of course, proof of work is TP. Regardless of how you claim that you're a technical analyst, you're this, you're that. If you're not always making profit in the crypto market, you're just wasting your time, just whiling away time. So remember, the ultimate goal is at the end of the day that you make profit, because that is how we're going to live the dream life we want, when we're able to make profits. So let's sharpen your analytical skills so you can be able to always hit profits most of the times. Of course, you hit stop loss sometimes, but make sure that your wins are definitely more than your loss. Okay, so that is some of the tips that are needed for you to be able to effectively manage your risk. Okay, there's more other ones. Okay, that I want you to go and make your studies and first of all discover what is good for you. Because if you look at what I was in there, it was more like my subjective opinions that worked for me. So we might have different risk tolerance. So if you don't go and look for what works for you, you might end up copying what at the end of the day might put you in trouble. Okay, so let's go with the last thing and then we'll close. Okay, note, when trading, you can be rewarded for doing the wrong thing once or twice. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't make correction and make amend. Refusal to take correction will always find a way to take you back to ground zero. You know, once I noticed about the crypto markets that you know that you can be wrong and the market will still give you profit. Like you still hit TP. You did a wrong analysis, so, but somehow it just happened that you were lucky and then the analysis played out in your favor. The fact that it played out in your favor does not make that wrong action valid. So you need to be very, very careful. Because I've seen people that the moment they make a wrong, maybe they refuse to use a stop loss. They refuse to use their stop loss, and then the market actually went down. It was actually red. We're actually losing. But after, then all of a sudden the market now reversed back and then put them in profit, and then they are happy. They cashed out. But you don't know that they actually went down almost 80%, minus 80%. But because of the noise, their stop loss, the market still reversed back and gave them profits. So because of that bad habit, some of them might want to go and repeat it again. But can I tell you something? As you're repeating, in as much as the market rewarded you the first time, the second time you might not be lucky. As you're repeating, the market will just liquidate you. All your money will just, you go back to ground zero. So I'm calling your attention to this particular thing so you don't go and make the mistake that most of us make when we started. Like, it's not, if you stop loss now, waste of time. At the end of the day, one day you just got that, all your profit has gone. Okay? So always ensure that you make amends. If you discover that your trading decision was wrong, try not to repeat it again. Even if it rewarded you, please do not repeat it. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, you can be a great analyst. The next note is you can be a great analyst and still not have great results to back it up if you don't prioritize risk management. It's as simple as that. You can be great with your technical skills, but if you don't have risk management, you would never go anywhere. You just be stagnant, just be moving back and forth. You wouldn't be able to accumulate this wealth you're looking for. And of course, I believe that nobody is here to just while away time. Okay, so please always ensure that you prioritize risk management. Very, very important. Like I said, you can be a great, like your analysis can be sweet, but then if your risk management is poor, you're wrong. Like I said, it's not by how much you make when you're correct. It's not by how much you lose when you're wrong. It's how much you make when you're correct. Some people can actually go and they are correct, or they can be correct 10 times, but just that one time that will be wrong, everything will be lost in the account. So do not be that kind of trader. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this risk management class. I trust it was insightful to you. Like I told you, this is more like a subjective thought. I want you to, or challenge you rather, to go to the market and see how you can research and find out what works for you. Find your own edge. That is what is going to determine your longevity in this industry. Okay, you don't want to be relying on somebody's information to make your decisions. Okay, so find what works for you and stick to it. Okay, so thank you